going to look at something called orthosomnia. Orthosomnia comes from the similar word as orthopedics, orthodontics, corrective sleep. And a lot of people have been presenting with orthosomnia because they're saying that their trackers, a lot of people now wear trackers to track their steps, to track their heart rate, to track their sleep as well. Their trackers are saying that they don't actually have the right amount of sleep. Now, what I've noticed over the last couple of weeks that I've been looking at it is that on 1 week, and this is after about 3 years of wearing a tracker, I've actually had a tick for my sleep. Now, what's quite strange about that is I don't really have a sleeping routine. I tend to have about 7.5 hours sleep, and that's something that for me I function really well on. What I'm going to look at specifically is whether if I have a bedtime routine, so for example, I set my alarm for 7:30, but I go to bed at say 11:30, I switch off, come off all smartphones, come off all computers and everything about an hour before. I maybe have a herbal tea, maybe do some exercise, whether that's going to make a difference. And Brandy's going to help because Brandy has a very good routine anyway. She loves exercising and that always makes her tired. She does tend to have a very specific routine before she goes to bed as well, so she knows that she is going to bed. But of course, because it's summer at the moment, whether the hot weather is going to make a difference, I know it's a little bit cooler today, but whether that will make a difference for her, we're going to find out. It's such a lovely evening. We've decided to bring Brandy out for a walk. Sometimes exercise before bed is a really good thing to do. Depends on how you feel. Some people love it, other people don't. But definitely one of us is going to sleep very well tonight. Just about to start the first evening's wind down routine. It's about 9:45 at the moment. And after the next 15 minutes, I'm going to pop this phone away and come off all devices. Probably have some kind of herbal drink, and maybe do some normal paper book reading, and then maybe a bit of stretching before going to sleep. If you can see this in the background, this is part of Brandy's nighttime routine. As you can see, it's part of mine as well. I've got my hot drink. Brandy's just been let out for the night and we're about to get ready for bed. So, night all. This is another bit of the bedtime routine. She knows she's not supposed to be on the bed, but here she is. And she'll get popped off into her basket soon and go to sleep. What I do notice about tonight, though, is it's a little bit earlier than usual. It's just coming up to 10 o'clock and I'm already feeling quite sleepy. So I'm wondering whether I've got myself into slightly earlier sleeping habits. Morning. Just wanted to show everybody this. This is what I wake up to. She knows she's not supposed to be there, but somewhere around 7 o'clock, she gets up and crawls onto my head. So I wake up with a dog hat. So we've come to the end of the week looking at our sleep data. And one thing I've noticed when you look at my tracker results for this week is that I didn't get a green tick. But there are a few observations. The first is I haven't really had a deficiency of deep sleep or light sleep, so there's very similar results between the 2 weeks. There was one day where I had about 5 hours sleep, so I was up at 5:30 because I had a lot of work to do. However, I compensated for that by staying awake for that day, but then sleeping longer on the other days. Now I was able to do that because my workload was a little bit less this week, but it does suggest that my body was naturally regulating.
It's worth remembering that we have circadian rhythms. Some of us, that's the times when our body is energized and when it feels tired. Now, some of us have a 24-hour circadian rhythm clock, some of us 25, some of us 26. A tracker does not account for 24, 25 and 26. Therefore, be very mindful when you are using tracker data. Another thing too that I noticed was that I wasn't feeling overly hungry, which means that I wasn't lacking sleep that much. One thing I see when I do lack sleep is that I get a lot more hungry than usual and I start craving sweets and food that's not as healthy for me. This is often because when we don't sleep enough, we produce more cortisol, which means that we get hungry a lot faster because we need things to energize our bodies. Now, Brandy's already wanting to go to sleep quite quickly, so I'm actually going to let her go and she'll hopefully find her way to her bed. But the other things to think about are, you can override the tracker. That's important. Your body knows what it needs to do. Another thing is, there are dog trackers out there. There are ways of measuring your pet's stats, but use technology as a tool. Listen to your body, think about what your body's saying, and then yes, of course, look for patterns should you need to. And that's the same with your pets as well. If you do, for whatever reason, need to know their health stats, great. But if you're just using a tracker in order to achieve some sort of perfection, perhaps we may be letting technology rule our lives. I think technology is a wonderful thing. I think trackers are absolutely great, but I won't be losing any sleep over them. Good night.